Oh man, coming up next, one of the most incredible bottle lightning stories you'll ever hear. Today's artist, I interview him, he released what he felt was a huge hit, but it failed in 1981. Years went by, his prospects dwindled, he thought his career was over. Then in the mid-80s, he caught a lucky break. A popular TV show played his song on an episode, and millions of viewers were blown away by it. What was this song? People were calling the TV station. They were writing letters. They wanted to buy the album, but the record, it was out of print. This was back in the day. Today's artist worked with an indie label to get it re-released, and it became a #1 hit in 1987. What might be the greatest song comeback of all time. The artist who wrote it and sang it tells us the story of scoring a smash hit at the age of 43. It's coming up next. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you remember the classic TV theme songs of the 70s and 80s, even better than the shows they represented, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss an episode. Nostalgia all the time. Make sure to hit the red button and check the bell so you always know when our latest videos and interviews come up. Also, check out our latest series on Patreon, Backstage with the Legends, at our new live event series. So I'm excited to bring you another episode from our series, Revelation. This is where featured artists reveal rare stories about their biggest songs, their biggest albums, along with fascinating insight about their careers. Now, in this installment of Revelations, we're going to relive an absolute Billboard chart miracle, as a song that stiffed on the charts at number 79 in 1981 made an unlikely comeback in 85 and 86 when they first used the song in several episodes of Family Ties. Then it went all the way to number 1 in 1987. Billy Vera and the Beaters had a long trip to number 1 with their heart-wrenching love song, At This Moment. Such a great vocal on it.
I would give at this moment.
This song isn't bottle lightning. I don't know what is, except technically they weren't a one-hit wonder. Billy Vera started out in the industry very young. His parents were both in show business. His father, a celebrated radio and television announcer, and his mother was actually a member of the Ray Charles Singers, backing up Perry Como on a lot of his biggest hits. Billy began in 1962 as a member of the band called The Resolutions.
January 1st, 1960.
He also wrote for everybody from Ricky Nelson and Fats Domino to the Shirelles and Dolly Parton. In fact, the song that he wrote for Dolly Parton called I Really Got the Feeling, that went to number 1 on the country charts. Now, he formed the Beaters with friend Chuck Fiore, and they released the album Billy and the Beaters in 81. Their first single, I Can Take Care of Myself, that just made the top 40 at number 39.
I can take care of myself. My friends all say out.
And they were very excited for the prospects of their next song, At This Moment.
I would do at this moment.
But like I said, it broke down after entering the top 100. Failing to go further than 79. These songs were actually recorded live at the Roxy. That was the album, and that was the version that went to number 1, the version you hear all the time. See, it's pretty amazing. I'll let Billy tell the rest of it, because this song became one of the biggest hits in 1987. It's covered by so many different artists, we still hear it today. This episode is sponsored by Zenni Eyewear, the brand of glasses that I jam daily. If you need a pair of glasses or sunglasses with summer coming, Zenni is really the only choice. You create your look, you put in your prescription, and you pay less than a vinyl record to have them right at your door. You'll be amazed, really. Check it out today at Zenni.com. Here's Billy Vera with the story. Let's get into At This Moment.
What did you think?
It went to number 79, and then, of course, went to number 1, and it hit every chart. That was what was great about that song. Is it was a crossover. I mean, it hit the country charts because it had that great, like you said, the pedal steel sound in it. Which was a crazy thing for an 80s record to have, a pop record to have that on it. I mean, it took a lot of risk. Of course, it was recorded in 81.
And horns, the combination.
Exactly.
Well, you know, the reason I did that is I'd been listening to a lot of Bob Wills at the time. And I liked how he combined the steel with horns. But I said, but I don't want to copy Bob Wills. What would they be doing today? I analyzed Bob Wills' music, and I said, well, he was doing a combination of jazz and Texas country and some pop stuff, which is just kind of what I'm all about. I've crossed genres my whole life. I would incorporate that into my rock and roll.
I don't need nobody's advice.
I wanted to make music that was more sophisticated than rock and roll, but still rock and roll.
You can hear that in that song.
Did you think I could hate you?
Because it hit the R&B charts, number 70 on the R&B charts, number 42 on the country charts, number 1 on the pop charts, number 1 on the AC charts. I mean, it was a song that spoke to everybody. And what's great about it, like you said, a great song, when you write it, it doesn't matter if it's 1981 or 1986 or 1987, but what an opportunity. One of the producers from Family Ties happened to see you play it live.
You just don't love me no more.
Calls you up on the phone. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, well, this was about 5 years that we hadn't had a hit, any record. So here I am, one day, I'm eking out a living acting, and playing in the clubs.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
Identify yourself now.
Blue Blazer regular, Pinky Carruthers.
Playing Thug of the Week on TV shows, And my phone rings, middle of the afternoon. He says, hi, my name's Michael Whitehorn, and I produce a show called Family Ties. And we were at the club the other night. We heard you do a song that might fit nicely in an episode we have coming up. We figured out what it was. It was At This Moment. So I said, well, yeah, call Warner Brothers and license the song from them. He said, yeah, okay, we'll do that. So then he calls me back. He says, we can't use your version because it's live. It's the middle of a love scene, and you can't have somebody yelling out, hey, sing it, Billy, in the middle of while Michael J. Fox is kissing the girl. So they said, we'll pay for you to come in and record bits and pieces of it so that we can just edit that in to the, great, we did that. Now I had songs in other TV shows before, and you make a few $100 and it's nice, the end. But this time I got a bag of mail. And I said, wow, people responded to this song. They always have. We won the gold prize at the Tokyo Music Festival in '81 with that song. So I knew it had something. So I said, let me see if I can get somebody interested and let me re-record it. Nobody was interested.
You approached a lot of different labels.
Whoever would answer the phone to me at that point, and that wasn't a lot. People have short memories in this business. And so finally, I'm having my periodic lunch with Richard Foos on Rhino Records. We have these lunches where we argue over
a true
arcane
music
things.
fan, Richard Foos.
Oh, he's a great guy, and I mean, who has the best version of Mustang Sally? That kind of stupid arguments we'd have. Mock arguments, not real arguments. So I said, Richard, how many records you got to sell to break even? He said, well, we have low overhead here at Rhino. He said, we a couple of thousand. We could break even. I said, I'll tell you what if we put out At This Moment an album of my best of those 2 Alpha albums, and I'll guarantee you 2,000 records. I could sell them in the club if I have to. And so, he only did it because he liked me. I think he thought he was going to lose money on the proposition. So we did it. And by the time we got the album out,
this is it.
There it is. I compiled it. And we missed the reruns.
Because it hit in 1985. It was October 3rd, 1985. The episode was called The Real Thing.
Yeah, that was the first episode. That's where he meets her.
And you missed the reruns. And so you're like, we missed our chance. You know?
Well, the following season, they used the song again. And he's mooning over Tracy, Ellen, the character Ellen.
Something wrong? No, nothing wrong. Well, listen, why don't you take a break? Let's dance.
The dance scene where they're dancing.
Ellen.
Alex, please let me go.
Ellen, I'm sorry.
Then, of course, chases her to the bus scene that they have, to the bus stop, to stop her from marrying this guy. She's waiting for him to tell him how he feels, and he keeps saying, and then...
You forgot your Newsweek.
It was the 80s TV moment for my generation.
I'm crazy about you. I'd give anything to be with you. I can't live without you. Okay?
We remember that, and we wanted that song. We wanted to know what that song was.
I'm faced with the knowledge that you just don't.
Oh man, well this time NBC, they told Rhino, they said, we got more calls than any time in the
the
history of
switchboards
the
are lighting
network.
up.
Yeah. He said, we've never had that many calls. This time they were ready. They had the name of the singer, the name of the song, and now people are starting to call radio stations. And Rhino wasn't in the business of contemporary records, so they didn't know bupkis about payola. You know, so there was not a penny of payola spent on that record.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real organic record. Viral
Grassroots.
before viral was a thing with the internet and social media.
I mean, people called record stores and they called radio stations. And the next thing you know, man, it was leaping over Madonna, leaping over Richard Marx, leaping over all these people. And, you know, I said, oh my God, I'm 42 years old. I got a hit record, the number one record.
I love you, and you know.
1977, I'm still living at my mother's house like some loser musician, right? And we're playing a club that was up in Pleasantville, Chappaqua area. And a beautiful girl comes in one night. And I see her. There was two couples at a table. And one looked like a couple, and the other one looked like, by the body language, she wasn't really into the guy. And she was unbelievable. 20-year-old college student. She looked like $1 million. And I said, oh my God, who is that? Oh, and the owner said, yeah, she used to waitress here. I said, really? I'd love to meet her, man. Yeah. So next time we played there, about a few weeks later, he brings her over. And we started dating. And it was like fireworks, man. And she's telling me about that guy
that you saw, that
she broke up with him. And she was, you know, like most 20-year-olds, a little narcissistic. She knew that she crushed this guy.
Yeah.
And she was very she was very articulate.
Descriptive about the story.
She described the crush that she crushed him. And I started writing the song from his point of view as I perceived it. So I'd say the first 2/3 of the song is me being him.
Putting yourself in his shoes. Yeah.
But I couldn't finish it. You know? And
didn't know how to end it.
Yeah. And usually when that happens, I trash the song. Thank God I didn't. I put it in my mother's piano bench. And then a year later when she broke up with me, and it was the worst breakup I ever had. I mean, it really took the wind out of my sails. And that's when I came up with that.
What do you think I would give it this moment? I'd subtract 20 years. And when you sing that, boy, you were in touch with that moment of when she broke up with you and you felt that. I mean,
I still was when I recorded it.
20 years from my life.
To be in that moment, to feel the pain that you were feeling in that moment and bring it back as you're giving that performance. Because when you say, after you said, subtract 20 years from my life, I'd fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walked on. If I could just hold you again. What's great about that is you say that, and then of course you have the great saxophone solo. It's just so incredible.
Jerry Peterson.
Oh, it's just amazing. And then when you come in with that you repeat that last refrain where you say, kiss the ground that you walk on, baby. I love that part.
Kiss the ground that you walk on, baby.
When you end it on that part, I mean, that people had done that before. You know, Billy Joel did it with New York State of Mind, where you hold, and but the way that you did that was different than anybody had ever heard do that. when you hit the high part.
Well, that comes from a lot of my doo-wop singing from the old days, A lot of doo-wop singers were singing the falsetto.
And that last again. And then when the music follows it, the pedal steel, it just brings together just the perfect pop song.
You could have gone in other ways. You could have gone Vegas and ended big, but that would be lame, man.
Right.
You don't want to be lame. That's like the 10th, the 11th commandment. Thou shalt be hip in all things at all times. Because when Sinatra sang a love song where he's ripping his heart out in these songs, you still know this is a hip guy who's hurt, which is a bigger thing. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, it's the same with At This Moment. At that last verse, what is a bigger thing you could say? I'd subtract 20 years from my life. I mean, that's huge. And what would you accept for that? If I could just hold you again. Something as small. In other words, you'd give the biggest thing you could possibly give for the littlest thing that she could give you, just to let you hold her. And so you want to end little,
I love that.
Because it's more effective that way. Now, I don't think that I calculated that.
No, before the emotion led you.
20 years of performing before audiences 6-7 nights a week. I always took performing seriously because that's what the old timers taught me.
I would give at this moment.
This guy gets it. He's going through exactly. He feels his pain is so real. It's like Frank Sinatra singing a saloon song.
And one more for the road.
I came on Facebook. One of the people who friended me was a woman who had been one of his girlfriends, mistresses. And she had produced, or had been there, or whatever, at a salute to songwriters down here at the Wiltern Theater, in which I performed At This Moment.
When you're standing before me.
She videotaped it. And so she played it for Frank.
Wow.
And I'm embarrassed to say this, but he said, play it again. And again. And she said he made her play it like 6 or 7 times. He said, that's one of the greatest performances I ever heard in my life. And every time he came over to see her, he'd make her play that video.
Just hold you.
He should have sang that song. I mean, instead, Michael Bublé did it.
If I could just hold you.
I've often said I'm the most grateful son in Hollywood. I've gotten to do what I want. I never had to make music I didn't want to make. Glad I finally, a lot of my friends got a gold record when we were 22. I didn't get one till 42. I'm a late bloomer. I didn't get, my friends all had Grammys. It took me a long time to get mine,
Well, not only do you have a Grammy, but you've got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I mean, I know,
I was surprised. I'll tell you, I was not only surprised, but I was really a little nervous about that because a lot of really important people don't have it.
Such an inspiration to what you've done. And I can tell you right now that I want to tell you thank you for the music that you provided because, like I said, there have been 7 or 8 songs that had a huge impact. I mean, I've heard hundreds of songs that they were like, oh, that's a great song, but only 7 or 8 times where a song really just defined the moment and helped me to get through a trial or an obstacle. And that was one of them. And just an incredible song. Thank you so much for the music.
Well, thank you for saying that, man. I appreciate it. Well, I had a great time. You're a good, really good interviewer.
Come on, you know me too well.
Yeah, I think every 80s kid has a memory or experience tied to this #1 hit. I remember seeing these episodes on Family Ties and wanting to know, what is this song? This is, of course, in the days before Shazam and streaming. Took years to get that single. I also remember listening to it on repeat when I had my first major heartbreak in high school. I remember contemplating a John Cusack Say Anything moment wherein I would play the song with, my stereo up above and sing along to win back her affections. Luckily, my friends talked me out of it. What are your memories of the song? Leave us a comment about this heart-wrenching love song. Did you see it on Family Ties? Share those memories below. If you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe. Help us keep the music alive. That is the idea. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Talk to you soon.